Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Season 9, Episode 30, overall 470 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, along with their great selection of all-electric vehicles and Cadillac products. You can call the dealership at 519-824-0210 and tell them Chris Palme sent you. And you can email the dealership at info@barrycullen.com. Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership has been family run and operated here in the city of Guelph since 1969. And I have been a proud customer of Barry Cullen Chevrolet since 2000. And they've been a sponsor of my show since September 2022. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show is also brought to you by Wellington Brewery at 950 Woodlawn Road West in Guelph, Ontario. Check out their website, wellingtonbrewery.ca. Try a welly on and make sure you drink responsibly as well. I hope everyone's doing well on this Thursday, December 19th, 2024, less than a week away from Christmas. I want to wish everyone watching this live stream and on audio a very Merry Christmas, and for those that don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays as well. I'm excited to have my guest on tonight. This is her first appearance on Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. I met her through TikTok, and I'm excited to have her on tonight. Her name is Jenna Loren. She is a singer, songwriter out of northern British Columbia and originally from Ontario, I believe the Peterborough area. So I'm excited to have Jenna on, and we're going to talk about her music career and maybe play one or two of her hit songs that are on Spotify. Good evening, Jenna. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I just realized I should probably put in headphones for better sound quality, so I'm going to do that. How's everything going for you this week?
I'm doing okay. This is my third show in 3 nights, so I've been busy doing this. But I want to say I love doing this, and thank you so much for giving us some time out of your schedule.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate you inviting me and giving me the opportunity.
How are you feeling? Are you over your cold?
It's getting there. My voice is still a little bit rough, and so I'm trying to just be patient with it and allow myself the time, the vocal rest to make sure that, I can be 100% again. So,
how's the weather your way?
It's been really cold. It's been, I think it was minus 22 today.
Minus
Celsius.
20, minus 22.
Yeah, minus 22 Celsius. So,
wow. And people here are complaining about minus 3 Celsius.
Yeah, it gets pretty cold up north here in northern British Columbia. So,
how's your visit going with your mom? I think you mentioned she was coming down to see you.
Oh, it's so great. She's been here since Sunday, and actually, sorry, Monday. Her flight got delayed a day, so it's been really nice having her just help me get ready for Christmas and getting all the last minute errands done and Christmas shopping. And she and I went to town on wrapping gifts the other day, so that was good.
What's your favorite thing about Christmas?
Oh, goodness. Probably watching my kids Christmas morning when they first come down the stairs, and the excitement on their faces, just that joy. And I don't know, for me, Christmas is it's all about like family and love and just spreading peace and kindness. So yeah.
Do you have a big family get together?
I did when I used to live back in Ontario, but now that we live where we do, we tend to have smaller gatherings with whichever family is able to come visit. Just because with our kids being the ages they are, it's pretty tricky to travel as a family of five for Christmas. But this year we'll have my mother, my mother-in-law, and my cousin and my sister-in-law all here for Christmas. So it'll be a pretty full house.
What do you prefer, white Christmas or a green Christmas?
Oh, 100% a white Christmas. Yeah.
Same here, but we don't get them in Ontario as much as we used to.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. Yes, I still global warming. So we didn't even get much snow here in Ontario last year. So far this year we've had snow, but then it goes away within 3 or 4 days of it.
Yeah, it's kind of hit and miss, I find, in Ontario. I hear the same from my family that live there too, so
And
yeah.
since we're speaking about Christmas, and we'll get to some questions in a few minutes, what's your favorite Christmas song and Christmas movie and Christmas food?
Oh, goodness. Okay, so favorite Christmas song that comes to mind would probably be "Oh Holy Night," and favorite Christmas movie would be National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I love that movie. And what was the last question?
Favorite movie, you answered song and Christmas food.
Oh, wow, that's a tough one. Probably just, like, all the Christmas baking, like, I always make up, like, trays with I normally do, Nanaimo bars and shortbread cookies
Oh
and
my God, I'm on my way
ginger
over.
snaps. Yeah, ginger snaps. I always every single year, everyone knows, like, my neighbors and friends, they know that they're gonna get, my Christmas fudge, which is peppermint, like, candy canes and Oreo with white chocolate.
Are you
Oreo
able
like,
to
crushed Oreo cookies, they're so good.
just give me a day and it'll be over? Sounds delicious.
Aw, thanks.
Wow.
I would love to get them to you sometime.
The one thing I had to give up 7 years ago was chocolate, and what I miss most about chocolate is Nyamo bars. I could eat them nonstop, and I miss having Nyamo bars. They're so delicious.
Yeah, they're amazing. I love the middle layer the best. So, that
Absolutely.
buttery custard layer.
Absolutely, and I was
Yeah.
gonna say, Jenna, it was a pleasure meeting you through TikTok, which I just joined
Yeah.
4 years ago at the age of 48 and thinking I was too old for it, and it's actually been a really good tool for my media career, and, I see you just joined it a couple years ago as well.
Yeah, I did, and at first, I thought it was sort of like something that I wouldn't have time for, and I wasn't very happy with the way the app what it was showing me, so I didn't go on it very often, but then a friend was telling me how you could really, curate the app and, like, make it your own, so I just started following, like, all musicians and very much, just making it my own thing. So now when I turn on the app, it's like concert after concert essentially. And yeah, I love it. It's really been an amazing opportunity for me to get grow my fan base and just it allows me to really get my own original music out there to way more people than I could have possibly before. So
Since you've been in the music industry, how much of an impact has social media and live streaming had on the music industry?
um it's been nothing but good for me. Like I feel like especially where I live, like, it's very limiting as to how often I can get out and play live music. Like, the city will have me do shows, and it'll be, like, mostly in the summertime. There's, like, a few open mics here and there. I've had a few of my own gigs here and there, but really, it's, like, for the amount of people that I'll reach locally, it's just not as beneficial and as worth my time to do something like Live Fest, which I just did, where I reach, after my lives, it'll say how many viewers I had. And there's been nights where I've had over 10,000 viewers in one stream. So it's just really opened up a lot of doors that way. It's
Oh,
amazing. I've made connections with other musicians all over the world.
It really does shrink the music industry and the world down, this technology, and it's if it's used the right way, it can be a great tool.
Mhm. Yes, 100%.
What I was reading your bio. How did you end up getting into playing the guitar at the age of 13?
So, I started picking it up when I was about 12, but I'd say I was finally playing it by about the age of 13. My mother, Michelle, she played guitar around me, like, my whole life, um, all cover songs. She always just did cover songs, but just being around the music, I think made me get a certain feel for it and, like, just, like, a rhythm almost, like, I'd dance, I'd sing along, and seeing someone else always playing the guitar made me, like, not afraid of it in a sense, so I wasn't afraid to, like, really explore the instrument, and, I ended up teaching myself how to play after one of my best friends showed me one song. After that, it just kind of skyrocketed from there, and I started taking all of my old poetry books and turning poems into songs just by fiddling around on the guitar. So, yeah, I'm totally self-taught. Never taken a vocal lesson or a guitar lesson. It's just been me.
That is amazing, and, I'm completely self-taught in radio and media as well, and, gonna ask you this, since you learned how to play guitar at a young age, what was your first song that you played on your guitar, if you can remember?
I remember taking a poem I'd written and putting it to the Alanis Morissette "Ironic" song. So, in the same sort of, like, beat with the same chords, but replacing the lyrics with my own poem. And to this day, I don't have it because to me that would be a bit like copying a little bit. So I've never I think it was just like my own way of starting to learn how to write songs. I used that as sort of like a reference song, if you will, like a bass line. And then from there I started just starting to write my own songs. And then one of the first songs that I learned from my friend was Talk to Me Now by Ani DeFranco. And the next song I believe that I learned was um, Luca by Suzanne Vega. So, yeah.
Besides, your mom who had an influence on your career, who else had an influence in in your career, and when did you know you had this musical ability?
Um, I I guess you could say like it was a really gradual thing for me. So I wouldn't say that I ever really like just woke up one day and was like, "Oh, I have musical ability." Um, it was just something that I found to be like a really great like outlet for me for my not only my creativity but also like for me music sort of became my medicine for some childhood trauma that I experienced, and it sort of became like a diary for me in a sense through music. um and I was definitely inspired by people like Serena Ryder. I went to school with Serena and we both were in the Peterborough Collegiate Vocational School, PCVS, integrated arts program. It was a special arts program for music, dance, and drama. And yeah, so she was like a grade or two above me. So every time there was like any sort of performances or talent shows or parties, there was nights where I'd be sitting around the campfire listening to her sing. So Serena Ryder was definitely a huge inspiration for me and still is to this day. Um, she's probably one of the biggest. I've been listening to a lot of her Christmas tunes this season.
Do you still keep in touch with her occasionally?
Um, I would say, like, through the grapevine, I do. Like, there's been, times where my mom and my dad have gone for dinner, and Serena was there, and then my mom texted me a photo and was like, "Serena says hi." And also a couple years back when I was stage crew for the Bear Creek Folk Festival, Serena was one of our headliners, and, right away she was like, "Jenna, how are you?" And, like, we gave each other a big hug, and it was just, like, really nice to catch up. But, I think at this stage in her life, she's so busy. She's really, her music career has really taken off. She's super successful. So with that comes a lot of touring, and she's quite busy, but it's nice to know that she knows who I am. And some of my best friends are good friends with her. So yeah, it's kind of like I'll hear about how she's doing through them, and it's nice to kind of get those little personalized updates here and there, which is cool. I'm
One of
really
my
happy for her.
That's awesome. And one of my friends is from BC. She's a comedian. Her name's Delana Helberg, and she's a comedian and a meditation
Oh,
teacher. So she's watching tonight too, and she's going to be on my show at some
oh,
point
that's
as well.
awesome.
And I wanted to ask you this too, since I have you on, Jenna. Can you
Yeah.
just tell us about attending the Peterborough Collegiate Vocabulary School's integrated arts program, and how much of an impact did that have on your music career?
So I remember it being like a pretty big decision when I applied for it. I think I was in grade 8, and it was a big decision because when you apply for it, it's like a selection process. So you have to submit like a portfolio, and they only take in a certain number of students each year. And it meant going to a different high school than all of the rest of my friends that I had gone to elementary from kindergarten to grade 8. So I applied just because I always felt like I wanted to be more creative and do more art and drama. And but this is a funny thing. I did not do the music program when I went through PCBS's integrated arts program. I actually did art and drama because you sort of had to focus on 2 of the 3. So believe it or not, I never took band. I never did any of the music classes. I tried to join the choir, but the choir was more like structured, and they were like true vocalists that could like read the sheet music and everything, and it just wasn't my jam. So I ended up dropping out of the choir. Um, but I always did music on the side, like as on my own. It was kind of interesting looking back that my music sort of more so came to the forefront later on as I like after I'd say more so after high school. It more so became a passion, I'd say, when I moved out to Victoria when I was 18 years old. Um, so when I graduated high school, my aunt and uncle who lived in Souk, just outside of Victoria, they asked me if I'd like to come and help out with their kids after school and sort of be like a bit of a live-in nanny, helping with like cooking and cleaning and that sort of thing. And at the same time, I took up a job as a lifeguard at the pool there. So um, it was like, my first time ever like seeing the ocean, ever being on an airplane, ever seeing the mountains. So it was a big deal for me to go out there. And I was only supposed to go for 6 months, but ended up deciding to stay and go to the University of Victoria. And so with that came a lot of like meeting people like my best friend Cassie and playing music with her and doing like open mic nights at the campus pub, and then busking downtown Victoria. Ended up getting like a regular spot in Bastion Square. I used to go along the inner harbor right in front of the Empress Hotel there. And that's sort of what really took things to the next level, because that's when one day a man named Kevin Woodward, who was an accountant slash musician, singer songwriter. He happened to see me singing one day in the Inner Harbor, and he dropped a $20 bill in my guitar case. And back then, I was just like floored by that. And then he was like, "Wow, I really like your stuff. Do you have an album? Do you have a CD out?" And I was like, "No, I can't afford that. I'm a starving student." um, and yeah, he basically like made a deal with me. He said, "Okay, well, if I help you out, you have to promise me that one day you'll pay it forward and help another young musician out when you can." And so, yeah, he did. He got me 4 hours in studio. He said, "Get as many songs down as you can." I managed to get 9 songs down. That was my Overabundantly album. And then we set aside 1 hour for mastering, and it's very raw. But yeah, I was 18 years old when I recorded that. So pretty
That's
cool.
amazing. And you beat,
Yeah.
and that's one thing I've learned about this show is listening skills. Because I was going to ask you this question later in the show about Kevin, and you beat me
Oh,
to it. So that's why listening is so important. And I wanted to ask you this too. As an 18-year-old, obviously you had family on the West Coast. How much of an adjustment was it for you to get used to being there? And were you a little homesick at first?
um, I think I was ready for adventure. I think I'd been craving, sort of my own independence. I Like I said, I'd never really been on any big trips. Mostly our family stayed close to home. We did some camping here and there, but I feel like we never really traveled further than like Canada's Wonderland, you know? Like it was like a big deal just to go to Toronto. So I was being like I'm on the cusp of Sagittarius and Capricorn. My birthday's coming up on the 22nd.
Happy
And
birthday.
thank you. Um, so if you look up like Sagittarius, they're very like spontaneous. They love like having fun and like traveling and just being adventurous. But then Capricorns are very like organized and hardworking and loyal, very loyal friends. And they love hard, but they can also be like a little bit bossy. And there's it's such an interesting thing because I'm both. I'm kind of well-rounded, I guess you could say, because I'm very artistic and creative, but I can also write like a detailed report. So I write resumes on the side, and I'm like a project manager for an Indigenous man, and help manage multiple projects for him. So it's an interesting mix, and then I've got my whole like career on TikTok too. So um, yeah.
What's a couple words to describe Kevin? And also, I've had a lot of comedians on my show besides musicians, and they find doing comedy or music is like a therapy.
Yes. So a couple words to describe Kevin. He's very kind and inspiring, um, and very smiley, laughable, like a very, yeah, just friendly guy. So yeah, he's still on the island. He lives in Parksville, I believe, and we still keep in touch. So, and then what was your next question again?
So, I should have wrote it down. I apologize. I write stuff down, but if I can remember, I'll ask you again.
Okay. Yeah, one question at a time is probably easier for me.
Yes, yes, and I'm still learning too. I was gonna ask you, when you first got into the music industry, how competitive is it, and how important is it to surround yourself with the right people in the industry?
I would say I'm still exploring that. So I wouldn't say that I've like made it big or made it to like a level where I would even say that I've felt like I'm competing with the big names or anything. At this stage, I would say it's super competitive. It's almost like winning the lottery if you make it big. Like if your songs are being played on the radio consistently and like you become a household name where people know who you are when they mention you. Like I'm sure you've heard of Serena Ryder before when I mentioned her,
Yes,
right? So
yes.
that to me is like a, a one in a billion chance. Like it's like there's so many talented musicians that I know of that still have never they've been playing music their whole lives. They've dedicated everything to it. That's all they do 100% of the time, and they're still not that household name. So um it is a little heartbreaking to see because, like, I do know many musicians like that, even some on TikTok, and so there's some people that I follow on TikTok, and I'm even a moderator for some of the creators that I want to see grow that are, like, so talented, way more talented than me, but yet they have maybe 1,000 followers. So it's really tricky. I think it's gotten to this point where it's not just about the talent, it's also about like your management, your marketing, like
Branding.
there's got to be branding, like there's got to be a whole package and like almost a team behind you, unless you can put everything into it. Like for me, I've been putting more and more energy towards my music lately, just because I've like realized, okay, like I've put my music on the back burner for so long, raising 3 kids. I always knew that like I wanted a family. So there was sort of like that fork in the road when I was like around 22, 23, that kind of age, where I was like, do I want to put all my energy towards my music and possibly give up on the idea of having a family? Or do I want to have a family and then do my music later on? And that's the choice I made. So here I am. My kids are finally, all 3 are in school. My youngest is 6 and my oldest is going to be 13. And I finally am feeling that sense of freedom where it's like, okay, I think now I can put more of my energy towards my music, especially with something like TikTok that allows me to do it in the evenings after they're in bed, or, to take a quick break, go put them to bed, and then come back on. I don't know if you happen to notice me doing that during the live fest, but I'd often do 2 streams, an earlier and a later.
Yes.
So yeah. I'm not sure what your other question was. I can't remember, but
Okay.
yeah.
I remember this one. The work-life balance. How important is it to have a work-life balance with raising a family and now getting back into music more frequently?
Yeah, so I think that that's like super, super important. It's something that like my family and I've discussed a lot. And ideally I would be, able to just like only do my music. But what I am learning too about that is like recently how I lost my voice. As much as I'd like live streaming to just be like an endless thing that I could put like 100% of my time into, doing that can affect my vocals. And I've also like from about April to August, I was suffering from a shoulder injury just from holding my arm up and having to like use a muscle in here that's not meant to be held up for hours on end playing guitar on TikTok. It actually was like to the point where I had to go to the hospital. It was that bad and couldn't even move it. It was like frozen. So I took about 2 months rest to get it back to being able to play again. So that was scary because I was very scared and I was like, oh my goodness, like, am I ever going to get the use of my shoulder back? Am I ever going to be able to play guitar again? And then I'm sort of going through that right now with my vocals because with Live Fest, I was like so dedicated. I pushed through, even when I was sick. And even though my voice was like getting worse and worse and worse, I just kept trying to push through. And really, I should have stopped. I should have been like, no, you know what? It's not worth risk. Because even still, it's quite rough and it's not where it once was. So it's not just about like the work-life balance. It's about like protecting my body, my vocals, and making sure that I'm like finding a healthy balance as well. So I'm starting to think about ways that I can like engage with my followers on TikTok that doesn't necessarily have to do with me singing or me playing guitar. So I have some ideas that I'm working on, and I'm really excited to get to those in the new year. I don't want to spill the beans just yet, but I've got some ideas up my sleeve. So yeah.
Perhaps a podcast.
Oh, I don't know. We'll see. So yeah.
No, for your vocals, you drink a lot of water or there a lot of
Oh
tea,
yeah.
honey?
Tons. Like when I was dealing with the vocal stuff over the last few weeks, it's been like I've done so much research. I've got like so many different amazing teas that contain things like slippery elm, marshmallow root, um, ginger, lemon, turmeric. Um, like I have 3 different types of raw honey, and I was rotating through them. I have like all these different like amazing things that I was taking, like chaga, like just I don't know if you've ever heard of bee propolis.
No.
All sorts of, if you look up propolis, there's just so many different things that I was taking for my immune system, in addition to like a regular slew of pills like a multivitamin and vitamin C, D. I was taking those emergency packs that you add water to, like that have zinc and everything in them. I was doing everything I could. um, and I even made homemade bone broth for the first time, like the kind that's like gelatin when you're all done with it. Like you take like the cow bones and you like literally put it in a crock pot for like 24 hours and it ends up getting all of the nutrients and collagen out of the bones, and it's supposed to be super duper healthy for you. I was even doing that. So I was doing everything I could find. I was researching and talking to everybody I could, even other musicians on TikTok saying like, what do you do? And there, a lot of them recommended a tea called throat coat. So I'd been drinking that. I even totally gave up all caffeine, except for green tea, because green tea is so full of antioxidants that I was still drinking that. But um, had given up alcohol completely because that's supposed to be bad for your vocals, like so many different things. And I'm still doing it. So I'm still trying my best here. I even made a big pot up of you put chunks of ginger, fresh lemons, and turmeric, and you boil it down for like 20 minutes, and then you make a concentrate out of it. I was like, made that, and like then pouring pouring about a quarter cup into every tea I was drinking. Pretty much, I just didn't have a time throughout the day where I wasn't drinking a warm tea. Like it was just like one after another. So
That's great advice. And for
yeah.
those people watching our show live stream on audio, Jenna, what advice would you give to somebody out there that's looking to get into the music industry?
Um, it depends in which area of advice, like overall in general. If
Over,
they're a musician,
overall in
which
general.
okay, so I would say don't let other people's opinions of you bring you down or make you give up. Because what I'm learning is because, over the years, I've had different people say things like, oh, you're not a good enough guitarist, or oh, you're not a good enough vocalist. Oh, you should really take lessons, or oh, you're too breathy, you're too raspy sounding, or your songs, you really need to work on editing your songs and making them more radio ready or whatever. What I would say is ignore all that and just keep doing you and just stay consistent. Like keep putting the time in every day, keep writing as much as you can. And as you do that, also keep educating yourself on your own music production. Because the reason I'm saying those two things, those two key things, is that number one, what's most important is that you're you, that you're your own unique sound. What makes a musician, like think of musicians like Janis Joplin, think of musicians like Tracy Chapman or John Lennon, like Bob Marley. What made them different was not necessarily them having a perfect voice or a perfect pitch or perfect chord patterns or some crazy riff. What made them most unique, I'd say, is that they didn't sound like anybody else. They sounded like themselves.
Be
And
yourself.
yes, and they had fun with it. They just authentically put all of their own self into it, and like you can see the creativity, just the juices are just dripping out of their songs, right? Like it's them. And when you hear one of their songs, it's them. So that's why I say just like don't listen to all the chatter from or the negative comments from other people. Just keep doing your own thing. And then I say do the music production along with it. Like take any courses you can, follow certain, like go onto YouTube, start looking up like music production and following people that do it, because there's a lot of basically free online tutorials on YouTube. Even on TikTok, there's a lot of pages you can follow that give you a lot of advice. And I'm sort of just beginning that journey right now. I'm trying to learn as much as I can. I'm taking a music production course online. And I say that because that's the biggest roadblock that I see for musicians today is the cost of recording and getting studio time, getting a producer, getting someone to mix and master. All of those things cost so much money. And even myself, like I've applied for grants here in Canada and I've never been successful. It seems like very limited. and very super competitive. I've wondered, okay, what am I missing? I've applied multiple times. I've still never gotten the grants for being able to put together not only even a single but an album. So even my last album, the only reason I was able to create that one was because I was hit by a car at a crosswalk and I got a small settlement from my CBC, and I was like, what matters most to me? My music. Let's go record some songs, but like literally even back then, that was back in 2010, it was $1,000 a song back then.
Wow.
So I can only imagine it's probably, I'd say a decent quality, like good producer, good studio that's got a lot of experience. That's going to create something that's like radio ready. You're probably looking at minimum $2,500 per song.
So this is
So
a
that's
big
why I'm saying
commitment.
learn it yourself, do it yourself. And that's why I've kind of come to the conclusion, because I've got like well over 60 original songs and I've only gotten 14 of them on Spotify. And even the first album, those 9 songs, I feel like need to be redone because they're just basically like demo tracks. To have those like fully produced, I need to redo them. But I want full creativity. I've been through working with my last experience with a producer at a recording studio was very poor. I was promised, a lot of things that I didn't receive. Basically, I got 4 hours of one-on-one studio time when I was promised 3 days for the price I paid. And what was produced for me was something that I could have done myself, I didn't even want to share it with friends and family, was how bad it was. But I didn't get any of my money back, and it was just like a really poor experience all around. So I learned from that. Basically, I learned, you know what, if I want it done right, I've got to do it myself. And I think it's good because then at the end of the day, it's limitless. If you do it yourself, it's going to turn out, as long as you've given yourself the tools, the education, and the knowledge, it gives you freedom, musical freedom. It allows you to fully express yourself the way that you envision and put it out to the world at the level and the quality that you are finally happy with. So that's what I'm after. And that's what I suggest any other singer-songwriters, any other musicians do as well. The information is at our fingertips now on so many different platforms online. It's there. Whether it's paid or free, it's there. You just have to take the time and research it. So
And it's also too probably important to have a strong mindset, because in any career you go in, you're going to have your successes, but you're going to have your setbacks. And I don't believe in the word
mhm.
failure. I call them
Yeah.
temporary setbacks. And how important is a strong support system, especially in the music industry?
I would say it's it, for me, it's just come down to myself, because nobody can make you do your music and do all of the footwork but yourself. Like at the end of the day, even though I love my husband and I love my mother and I love my best friends, they can't do the work for me. I've got to do it myself. Of course, it's nice if if say when I release my new single, if I make a post, it's nice if they share it. It's nice if they like it and comment on it and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I've got to do the work and put it out there, right? So, um I'd say that just making a solid effort every single day, asking yourself, okay, what steps do I need to take? So like try and stay organized, creating, either a notebook or an agenda, like an Excel spreadsheet, whatever you've got to do to stay on top of, okay, what's my to-do list? And there's a lot of research you can do, even if you just go on Chat GPT and you say, I'm releasing a new single. What's a marketing plan? Or what steps do I need to take to try to get it out there? Um, those are There's so much information out there on that. So yeah.
Before we get into your video off your YouTube channel, You Can't Give Up, which I listened to a number of times this morning. What's the process like of getting your music onto Spotify and iTunes and all those social media platforms for your music?
It's become really simple. So you can sign up for DistroKid or CD Baby. There's all sorts of different platforms that provide those services now. Whether or not they take a percentage of the streaming sales, or um, whether or not you pay per song, that sort of thing. I personally have just stuck with my original one, which was Indie Pool. So they're based out of Toronto, and Indie Pool was the one that I first released my first album with, and then my second. And now with my new single coming out, Andrew, on Sunday, basically, like, I just had to log into the portal and set up the release myself. I was able to just set, like, upload the single cover, the song title, the time I want it released, all of that. Really, really simple.
Congratulations on your latest single coming out on Sunday, and happy birthday again. By the way,
Thank you.
I have to ask you this because you know how Facebook and YouTube are with copyrighted music. Do I have your permission to play your song "You Can't Give Up"?
Yes, of course you do.
And it's courtesy of your YouTube channel, Jenna Loren. I've already subscribed, everybody. Please hit the subscribe and like notification. Jenna, please let me know if you can hear the audio okay as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. And this is You Can't Give Up by Jenna Loren.
You can't give up, no. They say those who push on through eventually find some luck. Your heart is strong, I followed you. You are my rock. You just can't give up. 'Cause if you did, the sea would swallow me up whole. I'd be that Bonnie and Clyde over the ocean, and I would float away forever unless you bring me back. You can't give up, no. They say those who push on through eventually find some love. Your heart is strong, I followed you. You are my rock. You just can't give up. 'Cause this is the worst of all of my nightmares. The very gloom of the darkest side of my soul. The place I'd always go when I won't cry. The part of me I'd hoped would die. You can't give up, no. They say those who push on through eventually find some love. Your heart is strong, I followed you. You are my rock. You just can't give up. Bring back, bring back, bring back your Bonnie from the sea. Bring back, please bring back your Bonnie from the sea. You can't give up, no. They say those who push on through eventually find some love. Your heart is strong, I followed you. You are my rock. You just can't give up. You can't give up, no. They say those who push on through eventually find some love. Your heart is strong, I followed you. You are my rock. You just can't give up. just can't give up. You just can't give up. No, you just can't give up.
Thank you so much, Jenna. And that was courtesy of Jenna Loren's YouTube channel. Please hit the subscribe and like notification. Just thoughts on this hit single, and what was some of your inspirations for this song?
Oh my goodness. Well, I think I was just feeling at that time like I wanted to give up, like, because it is such a overwhelming thing to try to make it music. And, I think I was just trying to write myself a song and that others could relate to in any given experience where you're feeling like giving up, to just remind yourself that you got to keep going, and that you got to kind of look towards whoever your idol is, your role model, and them as your rock, and that people with strong hearts, that they're gonna keep going, and that they're gonna do anything they can to make it happen. So yeah.
This is a song that we can all relate to, whatever career you're in. I've been doing radio media for 5 years, and I've had people support me, but I've also had to tell people I can't do it. Skeptics, naysayers, haters, and that song of yours, I really like it, and I was glad to play it on here tonight, and hopefully a few more times. I've also
Aw,
subscribed
thank
on
you.
your Spotify channel, and how satisfying to see it be so successful and being aired on radio stations out in BC.
I
Victoria.
know, it's been amazing. I've definitely had a lot of support, even locally as well, and I'm feeling like there's a lot coming in 2025, because I'm really delving into the music production now, and I'm really hoping to start releasing new material that's representative of some of my more recent stuff. So I'm really excited, and I hope that you guys follow along with me in my journey and see how I continue to grow as a musician. So yeah.
Jenna, do you have a few more minutes? Because I was going to play one more song of yours called Lose My
Yeah,
Mind from your Spotify channel. Is that okay?
of course. Yes, you betcha.
Okay, and please let me know if you can hear the audio. I literally wear hats, not just on my head, but on this show I wear about 7 or 8 different hats. So hopefully I can get the audio working here. 1 second. And
Sounds good.
this is courtesy of Jenna Loren's Spotify channel. Please make sure you subscribe to her Spotify channel. And this song is called Lose My Mind.
Okay.
This is a cycle that we loop through again and again. It's nothing new. Well, I can't go back, not another day, but I can move forward, 'cause I need some change. We've been through so much to get where we are. I don't want to lose this. We've gotten too far. Lose my mind. I'm so in love with you. Even when I'm mad, I could never hate you. You're my soulmate, and I'm your girl. You're the stars in the sky and spin on my world. You say you've met me halfway, that you are almost there, but time takes forever. It just is not fair. Please take the time to say me the words, to hold my breath, to not feel this hurt. We've been through so much to get where we are. I don't want to lose this. Gotten too far. Lose my mind. Oh, I'm so in love with you. Even when I'm mad, I can never hate you. You're my soulmate, and I'm I'm your girl. You're the stars in my sky and spin on my world. I can't wait for you to catch up. Slowly but surely, soon enough. I can't wait for you to catch up. Slowly but surely, soon enough. Lose my mind. I'm so in love with you. Even when you're mad, I can never hate you. You're my soulmate, and I'm your girl. You're the stars in the sky and spin on my world. Cause you're my soulmate, and I'm your girl. You're the stars in my sky and spin on my world.
Thank you so much, Jenna. This was courtesy of Jenna Loren's Spotify channel. Please hit the subscribe notification. Jenna, just thoughts on Lose My Mind.
That's essentially a love song. So, again, I hope others can relate where, you're in these relationships where you have struggles and, over time you people change and you grow together and you either grow together or you grow apart. And, there's some of the lyrics are about like meeting each other halfway and hoping the other person catches up. And, there's always those insecurities in oneself where you question, like, does the other person love me as much as I love them? Or am I doing something wrong? Or can they do more? Like, there's all those questions. And at the end of the day, though, you love each other so much, and you either put the work in and you make it work, or you don't. So for me, that song is really representative of one of my relationships, and it's, I don't think any relationship is perfect, but at the end it's, how much do you love that person? How much are you willing to put in to make it continue on? And I know that in my case, I couldn't live without my husband. I love him to bits, and he's such a good man. He's such an amazing father, and I can't imagine my life without him. But we are two polar opposites. So he's an engineer. I like to call him, my robot man, because he thinks so differently than me. And I'm like a creative, kind of like more emotional person, more nurturing, that sort of thing. But somehow we work together. We're like polar opposites that just we match somehow. We sort of complement each other. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, how long did it take you to record that song?
Oh, goodness. So I did all 6 of them pretty much back to back, like over a matter of a couple months, I'd say, where we could like fit it in with all of our schedules. It was mostly me and the producer and a lead guitarist, and then we hired like a backup vocalist, and we hired like a violinist. So there was like a bit of juggling schedules and whatnot. But that, I would say each song on average probably took like a week or two to get each song done. So yeah.
You got another hit, because that's a really catchy song. And I just
Oh,
have a
thank
couple
you.
more. You're welcome. I just have a couple more quick questions before we wrap things up. For those people watching on live stream or audio and they've never heard your music before, how would you describe your musical style?
Oh, that's a question I get asked often, and I've had a real hard time describing like my genre. Um, I've had some people tell me that it's like folk pop, indie pop, um, acoustic. It's a tricky one. Like, even when I was having to upload this most recent single and select a genre, I felt like the genre that I wanted to put in there was not an option. So I ended up having to put folk as my genre, because I'm like, well, it's not pop. It's not like true pop, but I don't know, maybe you have a suggestion for me. What would you put my music under?
I would say a combination of pop and folk.
Right? Folk pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
honestly, that's how I see it, and I really like your style.
thank you. Yeah. I just wish that Spotify had that as a genre in itself. It's like you have to select folk or pop, and you can't
It can't
select
be both.
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 You have to just pick one.
Hopefully, they
So
can change that.
so if you had to pick one, if you were the one uploading my music for the world on Spotify,
Yeah,
do you
I'm
pick
gonna.
folk or
I'm
do you pick pop?
either one is a great choice, but I give maybe a slight edge to pop.
Okay.
Slight
So
edge.
maybe go with
Slight
pop.
edge.
And then I've had others say that, they think it's country. Like they listen to the
Yeah.
You Can't Give Up song and they're like, "Oh, it's country." So
I'm
I
gonna
don't know.
I'm gonna put you on the spot here. Are you a Swiftie or no? Yes or no?
I would say at heart I'm not, but I have grown to like some Taylor Swift because I have some nieces that absolutely love Taylor Swift. And of course, it's been requested on my TikTok. Like I take song requests on my TikTok. And by the way, I have over 10,000 followers now. I've got about 10,100, so I'm really excited. Um this one that we have going along the bottom's a little outdated, and that's my fault because I haven't updated my website. But yeah, it's not that I don't love her music. I guess that it's just that I love other types of music more. Like there's just been so many other musicians that have just had more of a impact on me. Like I've absolutely loved growing up listening to, Tracy Chapman and Sheryl Crow and Sarah McLachlan and Jewel. And I'd say if I had to pick one, it was my biggest influence was Alanis Morissette.
Atlantis. Good choice.
So
Good
she's
choice.
incredible. And when I sing Alanis, or actually when I sing Jewel, both, I can I 100% people that's like the number one thing I hear in my lives in the comments. People are like, "Oh my gosh, you're a mix between Alanis and Jewel." And I'm like, "Well, those are probably the two I've listened to the most." And I still listen to the most. I know most of the songs off by heart, like it's just love it. Love it, love it.
I grew up
Yeah.
in the 70s, so I'm a classic 70s rock guy, 80s music and 90s. And I remember
Yeah.
the Michael Jackson and Madonna in the 80s. They didn't
Mm.
have social media back there, but as far as I'm concerned, if they did, they would just be as big as Taylor Swift.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. She's so talented. And I absolutely love, like, some of her songs I absolutely love, but I wouldn't call myself a Swiftie. There's like those diehards that are going to spend like $1,500 for a ticket.
Yeah.
And then there's me, and I'm like, I have to buy my kids their Christmas presents. I don't know.
Besides your live performances, what's the last concert you went to?
Last concert I went to. Hmm. Trying to think if there was something. Oh, what was it? I went to a concert in um what was that? Oh, I'm trying to. Oh, it was Journey.
Good choice. I grew up
Yeah.
living in the 80s. Favorite Journey
Yeah.
song?
Oh,
There's so many to pick.
this is a tough one. Let me just pull up my Spotify here. I'll tell you. Can you still see me?
Yes, I can. I can hear
Okay.
you well too. Yes.
Oh gosh. Mm, I'm not good with song titles. That's why I'm pulling it up, because when I go onto TikTok,
Yeah.
I get requests all the time, and I cannot remember song names for the life of me. Oh, what am I talking about? 100% Don't Stop Believing. I
Same
do
here.
that on my live. I get requested that on my live, and I attempt it. It's pretty out of my vocal range, I'll say, but I still attempt it. So
I
I think I
actually,
have it on my page,
yeah,
actually, if you check out my page.
I'm not a singer, but I tried karaoke 5 years ago for the first time in my life in New York. I had a few drinks in me, and that was
Yeah.
one of the three songs I sang. Don't Stop Believing.
Aw.
I emptied out the bar, so I don't have any musical talent. And I was gonna say I was supposed to see Billy Joe a few years ago, but the concert got canceled due to the COVID, and I never was able to.
Oh, you're freezing up on me. Not sure if it's my internet or what. Oh,
Oh, we're back. We're back. Yep. Technology can be great at times, but it can also be frustrating. I wanted to ask you this, Jenna, before we wrap things up. What have
yeah.
been some of your favorite clubs to perform at? And when you do a live performance, do you have a ritual or superstition before a live show?
Um, some of my favorite clubs that I've performed at, I don't really want to say because it kind of like I'm trying to be
Okay.
discreet about my location just because I don't want
Okay.
to put my children at risk.
Okay.
And you never know who's out there. I've had a friend that was actually stalked after she was doing TikTok. She had a stalker and she had to close
Oh,
down her account. So, I
I
will
should reword
say,
the question. Maybe most memorable.
um, okay, that's a good question. So, um, I will say there's a moment that I will never forget, and that was um at the Bear Creek Folk Fest, not last summer, but the summer before. I had an opportunity to sing on stage. I was basically stage crew, and I basically like was singing along with Steve Poltz. He was on stage. Sorry. Um he was on stage and he was singing You Were Meant for Me because he wrote that song with Jewel. He's actually in the original music video with her. Um, and he was singing it, and he happened to look over and see me singing it alongside the stage. And he was like, "Hey, you. Yeah, you." And he's like pointing at me, and I'm like, "Me?" And he's like, "Yeah, you." He's like, "Get up here." And he like pulled me up on stage, and then he put me in front of the mic and he had me sing like half the song. Um, and it was just like such a memorable experience. So that was in Grand Prairie, Alberta. And yeah, Steve Poltz was the co-writer of You Were Meant for Me by Jewel. And I cannot believe that he pulled me up on stage and had me sing that song. It was just like something I will never forget and was blown away by the entire experience. So yeah,
That's
I sing
amazing.
that song a lot on my live, and I'll tell the story, and it's just so heartwarming. I've been meaning to write a song about that experience, so stay tuned for that.
Do you have your own recording studio or do you have it just at home?
I'm in the process of building one. So I've been very selective with I've been doing so much research on like which DAW I want to purchase. You know, I played around with GarageBand, of course, and then Reaper. Um, and then I was doing Ableton Light because it came with the Scarlett Focusrite that I got. But now it's looking like I'm probably going to go with Logic Pro. Just because the music production course that I've been taking is modeled after that. And a lot of the other musician producers that I've spoken to seem to be supporting the choice of Logic Pro as well. So I need to make the investment and do that. The reason I've been holding off is the room that's been dedicated in my basement as my recording studio. It needs it's concrete floor. It's the walls are not even drywalled. uh, so we need to like get a door on it. Like that needs to come first, and we need to get proper like special soundproofing and things like that. So that's going to come first, and then yeah, that's why I'm just kind of doing all the research on the programs right now and making sure the knowledge is up here for when we get the room completed. Then I'll go out and purchase like the monitors. Like there's certain monitors that I know I want and all that good stuff. So
And
yeah,
that's
I think
awesome.
next year is going to be a big year. Like I think it's finally going to get
2025.
built in 2025. Yes. And every single live you see me do, I'm saving towards that because it's not going to be cheap. Like minimum $10,000 minimum.
But it's
So
it's an investment on your future. And
exactly.
talking to you, I can tell how passionate you are. And whatever you do in life,
Aw.
you have to have a passion. If you don't have a passion, then you should probably move on to something else.
I appreciate you that you see that in me, and yes, like, you nailed it, like, if I actually have a couple songs about that, so, sometime we'll have to play those for you, but, yeah, I have multiple songs about following your passion and just being yourself and, like, not giving up, and yeah,
No matter
there's a
what age you are. I'm 52 years old, and I'm just trying to prove to people that I can do radio media just as well as the younger generation.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's a song if you check out, my original song, it's not yet recorded, but it is on my TikTok page, it's called
Okay.
"So Close." Check out
Okay.
"So Close" and listen to the lyrics of "So Close." It relates so much to what we're talking about right now. So
Absolutely. And before we wrap this up, I do this with all my guests. What's some fun facts or a fun fact about yourself, Jenna?
ooh, a fun fact about myself. Let's see, okay, I like to have dance parties. So, I like to turn on, like, funky lights and turn off the lights and put on, like, the disco balls and just like dance it out with my kids and just be silly and have fun. And it normally takes place in the kitchen. So, yeah, I like to just create those memories, right? Have fun.
And finally, can you just tell us about? I'm not sure if you have any upcoming live shows on TikTok coming up, and again, your new singles coming out what this Sunday, December 22nd.
It is. So, I'm planning on going live on the evening of the 21st and
Okay.
doing the release live like at that it'll be coming out midnight Eastern Standard Time, which will be 9 o'clock, or sorry, 8 o'clock. No, there's a 2 hour time difference now. So 10 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's what I'm in right now. So yeah, it'll be probably I'll start the live, I would guess. I need to create the event for it. I was gonna do that tomorrow. I'm thinking I'll probably start my live probably at about 8 or 9 o'clock. It's tricky because we have some dinner guests coming that evening, so I don't really wanna boot them out, but at the same time, I know that it's a busy time of year and it gets tricky trying to plan these sorts of things, but I really wanted to release the new single before the year end, so and I thought, "Why not do it on my birthday?" So,
Happy
it'll be
birthday,
a
by the way.
it'll be
Happy
a
early birthday.
thank you. Yeah, so it'll be like a live that's about my birthday, about the release of the new single, and I'll also be doing a grand prize draw. So I've been recording the top 3 gifters and supporters from every single live all through November and December. At the end of the live, I take a screenshot, and those top 3 gifters receive a ballot into the like an entry into the draw. And it's for basically a hoodie, one of my limited edition first albums of the Overabundantly CD signed by me, as well as a poster signed, and the hoodie will have my new logo on it as well, and they're also gonna get a song written just for them by me, the winner. So I'm
That's
excited
awesome.
to do that draw that night as well. So I'll probably do the draw right after we release it and play the song for the first time.
I will try my best to
Yeah,
tune in on Saturday night. And by the way, I have
thank
another show
you.
tomorrow night, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
I've got a guest and another co-host on. My co-host is in Los Angeles, so she's 3 hours behind me, and then my
Okay.
guest, she is in Chicago, Illinois, so she's an hour
Oh,
behind us. So I'm gonna have 3 people on 3 different time zones tomorrow night.
wow. Will
So
you please send me the link so I can tune in?
yes, and I've got a comedian. Her name is Cameron Kay. She's an upcoming stand-up comedian out of Detroit. She's just in Chicago this weekend. And my co-host, her name is Marlene. She's in the animation, the cartoon animation
Oh,
industry in Los
wow.
Angeles. So we work well together. So I will send you the link. It's called the
Awesome.
Small Talk Podcast. It's a once a month entertainment talk show podcast.
Love that. I would love to check that out.
And I
Thank
always
you.
make sure when I have my guests on, I make sure we get the right times because every guest I have on, I've had on from Australian time, West Coast time. So I always like to double check and make sure
Yeah,
they have the time straight with my guests.
Perfect. Well, I'm so glad that this all worked out for us tonight. I really appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much. And where can my audience follow you on social media and your website? And what's the best way of somebody contacting you online?
Best way is to just email me, jennaloren@gmail.com. And my website is jennaloren.ca. I'm most active through my music on TikTok. So Jenna Loren Music is my tag on TikTok. And yeah, I'm really hoping that the app keeps happening and keeps growing and doesn't get shut down. I've been really kind of worried about that. I know that my American friends are especially worried. So, and I'm just
Fingers
worried that
crossed.
Canada could follow suit if the Americans end up banning it. So a little bit worried about that. So I've been trying to also really spread the word on joining my Discord group. So you can also look for Jenna Loren Music on Discord as well. Or just email me and I'll send you a direct link for an invite. It's welcome, open to everyone, and it's free to join that Discord group. And it allows you to message me and get to know me better. I post on there, and typically everyone is like getting to know each other, and I always post new song ideas, new photos, all sorts of stuff on there. So yeah.
Are you on Blue Sky yet? Apparently Blue Sky is the newest form of Twitter.
Oh, I'm not on Blue Sky.
Apparently that's
I
the
guess
new
I'll have
thing now.
to
A
check
lot
that out.
Yes, a lot of people are leaving Twitter X because they're not happy with the owner of that site. So now they're going to Blue Sky. So I'm going to have to look into that as well. And
Okay.
I'm not sure if you're on Threads. I'll make sure I tag you in all my social media platforms today with the video, the audio,
Okay.
and I'm going to break this down into video clips, and I will post them on TikTok, and I'll tag you if that's okay as well.
Yeah, of course. 100%. Thank you so much.
Well,
Appreciate
Jenna,
it.
thank you so much for giving us over an hour of your time. I
Oh, of
apologize if I
course.
kept you too long. I really enjoyed speaking with you, and I want to say thank you again. Continued success in your music career, and I want to wish
Oh,
you and your family a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and we'll definitely we'll keep in touch on TikTok and social media as well.
thank you so much. And same to you and yours. I appreciate this opportunity. It was really great. Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much, Jenna. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds great. Take care,
Good night.
everybody.
Thanks,
Bye.
Jenna. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, guys, that concludes season 9, episode 30, overall 470 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership and Wellington Brewery here in Guelph. The next Small Talk podcast returns tomorrow night with co-hosts Marlene Sharp and Chris Palme on Friday, December 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern with our special guest Cameron Kay, an up-and-coming stand-up comedian based out of Detroit, Michigan. It's been a little while since we did a Small Talk podcast, so tomorrow night, season 2, episode 11, 7 p.m. Eastern with Marlene Sharp and myself and our special guest Cameron Kay. Before we wrap up this show, guys, Wellington Brewery, one of my sponsors, is having an event on Saturday, December 21st from 12 to 4 p.m. at a Wellington Brewery at 950 Woodlawn Road West here in Guelph, Ontario. It is a fundraiser called Tangle's Lead Canine Rescue Group. It's called Last Call Christmas Market. They're going to have vendors, dogs, beer, hot dog cheer at Wellington Brewery this Saturday, December 21st, again from 12 to 4 p.m. Join us this Saturday. Get your last minute Christmas shopping in while supporting a local charity. They will be offering Santa and pop pictures for a donation with Tangle's Lead Canine Rescue from 1 to 3 p.m. with amazing vendors from 12 to 4 p.m. The Wellington Brewery tap room and retail store will be open for dining, samples, and to purchase new and classic Welly beers for the holidays. So please check out the Christmas market this Saturday, December 21st from 12 to 4 p.m. Eastern at Wellington Brewery at 950 Woodlawn Road here in Guelph, Ontario. You can check out their website, wellingtonbrewery.ca. Try a welly on, and please remember to drink responsibly as well. And also, guys, before we wrap this show up, if you're looking to adopt a pet, check out the Cambridge and District Humane Society at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. Telephone number 519-623-7722, extension 0. And you can visit their website at cambridgehumanesociety.org. All the animals' profiles are on cambridgehumanesociety.org, and they're doing a 50-50 draw there, a monthly 50-50 draw, and you can buy tickets through there. Go on the website and click on events. And if you're looking to volunteer at the Cambridge Humane Society like I am, you can fill out a volunteer application through their website as well. And I'm also still selling 2025 Cambridge District Humane Society calendars for $10 cash, or if you're out of town, you can PayPal me at cpalme19@gmail.com for the amount of $10 plus shipping as well. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, again, is live streamed on these platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter /X, Twitch, LinkedIn, and now available on Instagram. And make sure you hit that subscribe and follow notification. You can check out my website at beacons.ai/Chris D. Palme. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, again, is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Automall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, along with their great selection of all-electric vehicles and Cadillac products. You can call them at 519-824-0210 or email them at info@barrycullen.com. And they have been a sponsor of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show since September 2022. So check out barrycullen.com. Live with CDP t-shirts are coming soon. They're priced at $20 and they're in sizes medium, large, extra large, double extra large. I'm doing a pre-order, so if you're interested in purchasing one of my shirts to support my shows, please send me a DM as well. I'm also a content creator on TikTok. Check me out at Live with CDP and hit that follow notification. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. If you're into webinars or podcasting, check out StreamYard.com. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, the audio version is on these platforms: iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Pandora, Tuned In, YouTube Music, and Good Pods. And please hit the subscribe and like notifications. Finally, you guys can email Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show at cpalme19@gmail.com. Any comments, questions, suggestions, feedback would be greatly appreciated. And before we wrap up this show, guys, we've got some football on tonight. Thursday night football. We have the Denver Broncos taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. Denver comes into this game 9-5, and the Chargers, coming off a couple of tough losses, are now 8-6. So this is a huge game. Right now, they should be probably in about the second quarter or halftime at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. But Denver and Chargers. And the NFL games this weekend, the big one for me is the 1 o'clock game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders. Eagles win this game, they'll clinch the NFC East Championship and clinch at least the number 2 seed in the NFC playoffs. So Eagles coming into this are 12-2, winning 10 in a row, and Washington is 9-5. It's an intriguing matchup between Jaden Daniels, who's probably going to be the NFL Rookie of the Year, against Jalen Hurts. So looking forward to that match as well. And before we wrap up this show, guys, I wanted to make an announcement. Guys, if you want a personalized video from yours truly, go to cameo.com/Chris D. Palme. And I'd be happy to do a personalized video for you. Birthday wishes, pep talk, Christmas wishes. If you want to ask me questions about my radio show and media work, please consider checking me out on cameo.com. And the proceeds from my Cameo videos will go to my radio and media work as well. And that's about it, guys. I want to say special thank you again to my guest tonight, Jenna Loren, a singer-songwriter out of British Columbia, Canada, for coming on here tonight. Please check out her website, jennaloren.com. or she's on all social media platforms, including TikTok as well. And I had permission from Jenna Lorenz to play her songs You Can't Give Up and Never Lose Your Mind as well. So that's about it. I want to say thank you to Jenna Loren for coming on, and thank you to everyone watching this live streamed and on my audio platforms and on Stream Punk Entertainment. Thanks to Scott Churchin as well. I hope everybody has a great night, and hope you guys can join me for season 2, episode 11 of the Small Talk podcast tomorrow night, Friday, December 20th, 7 o'clock. Marlene Sharp and myself with her special guest, stand-up comedian out of Detroit, Michigan, and she's a huge Detroit Lions fan. Besides being a comedian, her name is Cameron Kay. That's about it, everybody. Have a great night. And for some of you, if I don't talk to you or hear from you for the next week or two, I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. And for those who don't celebrate Christmas, Happy Holidays. So Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody. And hopefully we'll see you guys back here tomorrow night for the Small Talk podcast with Cameron Kay and Marlene Sharp. And I will make an announcement on my next Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment talk show, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership and Wellington Brewery here in Guelph. Have a great night, everybody, and thanks again for watching and listening to Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment talk show, hosted by yours truly, Chris Palme.